guys, I'm Ben Farmer and I'm a cinephile.
I'm Megan Carver and I'm a Cine newbie. Did you know that we watch all kinds of movies, new and old?
And let you know if you should watch them too.
Did you know? Welcome back to So I Married a Cinephile.
So we've officially kind of surpassed season 3 because this is technically episode 17.
Yes.
And we usually need to do 16 episodes per season.
Correct.
So gloves are off, man.
Who knows?
Rules are out the window.
Who knows what's going to happen at this point?
A fluid situation.
Unprecedented.
That's right.
Just like literally everything else in life right now.
Yeah.
So, unprecedented.
Instead of, going against the stream or swimming upriver against the grain.
You should never shave against the grain.
Shave the grain.
I always shave against the grain.
Really?
Yeah. Because, if you shave with the grain on your legs...
that would be like me taking my razor and going this way.
Right, but it's different for your legs. Because
your hair grows down.
It grows down. Well, it grows down on your face, too.
Well,
but if you shave with the grain on your legs... and you come over to me and go, hey, you go, oh, I'll just scratch you. Because it's prickly. Like, it's super prickly.
It is.
So, at any rate.
Yours especially.
Mine is. Well, because I've got.
It's very full.
I'm a hairy lady. And I say that strong. With so much confidence and love. Yeah. I have a lot of hair on my head.
And I say the same. When you have strong leg hair, I say that.
Yes, it is. I have strength in many ways, including my follicles.
My leg hair.
I feel like we're kind of dark right now. Does it look a little dark?
I don't know if it's because we're not properly lit from the front. We usually have a fire going.
Maybe that's it.
But it's still daylight out.
Does that help at all?
No. Yes.
No.
Maybe not really. It's more backlit.
Darn it.
I know.
No. You keep talking.
I'll keep talking, I guess. The one person we had watching is no longer here. So.
Wow. We're just moving on up. We're
just
really
batting
1,000.
But maybe if we move the lamp over.
I'm really glad we're recording all of this, by the way. That you guys get the behind the scenes look.
That's right.
At what happens with So I Married a Cinephile.
Because it's live theater.
Because it's live, folks.
And life.
Why
can
don't
be a
you
little
say
messy.
how was your week, Ben?
It was amazing.
What happened this week for you?
My weekend, especially, I got to do a lot of yard work.
Okay.
Which was nice. I got to do some voiceover, which was also great.
Good. What was the voiceover for?
It's actually for a company that I work with. This company is based out of California, and they've been a client. We've had a working relationship for, since we lived in Portland, so probably 6 or 7 years.
Right.
I just recorded some voiceover for a video that I did maybe within the first year of meeting them.
Uh-huh.
So.
Oh, wow.
That was kind of cool. Like, he sent me this thing. He's like, oh, can you update this line? And I'm like, oh my God, this video is like 6 years old. But no, like, the weather's been awesome. We had a really nice weekend here, I think.
Yeah. I think too, like, because, we were saying earlier that it's not very often that you get to be a couple and live in a house for an extended period of time on your own before buying a house.
Right.
Like, unless you're renting it or something. And so we've had the opportunity to pretend play homeowners.
Yeah.
And I did gardening the other day.
Yeah, I filled 10 bags of leaves this weekend.
Yeah.
And did some, I sanded the rail out front and, you did some gardening by replacing some flowers.
Yeah. I was replacing
planters and stuff, and we put out the lawn furniture.
You aired out old paint cans.
I have old paint cans airing out in the garage.
That's as homeowner as you get.
So I feel like this is kind of an interesting trial run.
Yeah. I think we're doing okay.
I think so too. It's made us realize we definitely want to.
We like house. We like not having neighbors living on literally all sides but one of us.
And Rocket has had such a great time too.
Rocket, you can see he's passed the fuck out.
He got a bath today, so
he had 2 very long walks and a bath, so he's
a little
dead to the world.
For today. But no, he's had such a great time with the open outdoors. And, it just made us realize, I think we want to be homeowners and. See,
and then as soon as we get a house, we're going to start complaining about that. You have to find something to complain about. You have to.
And the upkeep of it and everything. But I think we're up for the challenge. But all that good stuff. So, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I had a good week. Work was good. I had a couple of very interesting clients.
Yes.
I had just a couple of like there was one person that I talked to who I was talking to him and he's like, "Oh, I'm busy. I can't talk right now." And I said, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Call this woman. She'll talk to you. And if she fucks it up, I'll just scream at her." And I'm like, okay.
1955.
And then later on, I'd been texting with him, like, checking in on how things were going. And he's like, well, he's texting me back, so I'm not going to do the accent. He's like, things have been really slow. Life is hard.
Sure.
Why don't we get rid of all these other countries?
Yeah.
Because then it wouldn't be like this. And you just have to skate over that stuff. You can't address it at all. And there was somebody else too that I was talking to that was like, I said, do you have a chance to take a look at the artificial intelligence draft that we sent you of your website? And he's like, no, but I'll be in my tractor later and it has auto steer. So I can look at it on my phone then. I mean, apparently it's fine to operate heavy machinery and check the draft of your new website.
On your phone,
that's okay.
But it's fine because this tractor has autopilot.
It does have autopilot. It's fine. Who knows what else? Candy Crush.
Yeah.
Like Zombies versus Flowers or whatever that game.
Yeah.
What's the newest thing? I don't know what the new games are. Words with Friends.
I know. Is it Quibi that just went live?
Quibi's the really short little videos.
Yeah. So that was like.
It's not quite TikTok and it's not quite Vine. It's something more, but also less.
Why do we keep reinventing these things?
Because people's attention span keeps growing shorter and shorter.
So is it still 7-second videos?
No.
Oh.
Quibi is about 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
I think, at the most.
So
it's a bunch of short films.
Oh.
But they're episodic.
Cool.
I don't.
Okay.
Neat.
Okay. Quibi.
People are busy. Quibi.
This episode is not sponsored by Quibi.
It sounds like queef, but it's clever.
Did you have yourself a Quibi today?
It's queefing with glasses.
Have you ever accidentally Quibied in the wrong moment?
If I had a nickel for every time I Quibied, I'd have at least 25 cents.
Oh, hi, Jacob.
Hi, Jacob.
You look great. Jeez.
Animal Crossing is big now. You're right.
What's
Animal Crossing. It's this whole I have no idea. It looks like if Sims and Muppet Babies had a merge and they all needed to be farm animals. I'm not quite sure what it is.
Wow.
It's like animated, like Game Boy shit. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm okay with that because it sounds like something I don't need.
No. So this week, what we did is we asked everybody what their comfort food movie was. Because especially right now with everything that's been going on, I think we're all going back to something that's familiar, something that makes you feel good, like the peanut butter and jelly of your cinematic world, as it were.
Depending on when you were born, too, because you guys sent in a myriad of options.
Oh, my, and stuff that was like from this year to stuff that was from before we were born.
Yeah,
like
essentially.
All over the place. So there were tons of stuff. We had over 100 submissions. Yeah. And we had a really hard time picking just one. So what we thought we would do is... I told Ben what we're doing.
So
this is what we're doing, is that we were going to name off at least 20 of them, maybe 21. And what we'll do is I've written them down and we will go back and forth trying to rapid fire say really quickly the plot of the movie in like 2 sentences or less. And then if we recommend the movie, just yes or no. Okay. Like, what was it? What's the game, like Kill or Marry?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like you watch it or don't. Yeah, that's it. So I've got...
Should we jump in? I've got my list.
You've got... Your list is for me. So you tell me the thing, and then I'll tell you. Oh, so we're going to go back and forth. And we're going to go as fast as we can. Do we want to time it? I don't know what we're timing it
We're not really timing it.
Okay, so we're just going to do as fast as we can. These are all of your submissions. So if we... Hopefully we get these right.
Yeah. And hopefully I recognize some of these.
Those are
Most
yours.
of them I
these
do.
Are
right.
mine.
These are the ones I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ready?
Right. Yeah. Do you want to start or should I?
Why don't you go?
Okay. Connie and Carla.
Okay, so it's about two women that want to be drag men. They're like drag queens, but men, and they make they make a cabaret show and they make money.
Would you recommend the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, it's about an out-of-work actor who really loves his kids, who dresses in drag and pretends to be a nanny so he can spend more time with his kids.
Would you recommend it?
Hell yeah, I'd recommend that movie.
You go.
School of Rock.
School of Rock. A drunk dude pretends to be a teacher and makes kids like music.
And...
No, we're trying to keep it short.
Okay.
Trying to keep it short. There's so much more, but you have to keep it really short.
Would you recommend the movie?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay, Newsies.
Oh my God.
Quick, make it quick.
The kids have to sell them papes, but Robert Duvall's like evil, and Anne Margaret's like this old whore.
Would you recommend
Yes.
it? Go.
Hook.
Oh, a guy that doesn't know he's Peter Pan finds out he's Peter Pan in his middle age, and he goes back and he fights. What's his name?
I just said his name.
Robert Duvall?
No.
What?
I just said the title.
Fights. I meant the actor.
Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
Fights Dustin Hoffman.
Would you recommend the movie?
Absolutely.
Great.
Oh, Forrest Gump.
Oh, a slow-witted Southerner experiences like 50 amazing years of U.S. history.
Would you recommend this movie?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Go.
Juno.
Juno. A girl gets pregnant.
Would you recommend this movie?
No.
Really?
No.
I love Juno.
I don't like Juno.
Oh, really?
No. It was like the Garden State of pregnant girls.
The theater, didn't we?
I don't care about it. I don't care about it.
Okay.
Go. Oh, I'm going.
Your turn.
It's my turn?
Yes.
The Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, this girl gets a job as an intern working for a woman who's really mean.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yeah. Would you recommend the movie?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
Very good acting.
We're about halfway through.
The Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club. A bunch of kids get detention and end up becoming friends.
Would you recommend the movie?
Absolutely. Yes. Field of Dreams.
Kevin Costner is talking with ghosts, and the ghosts want him to build a baseball stadium.
Would you recommend this movie?
Kevin Costner's an American treasure, so yes.
Okay.
The Princess Bride.
Princess Bride.
This book has everything.
This book has everything. The boy gets sick. His grandpa reads him a story, and the story is about love.
Fencing, fighting, monsters.
It's my turn.
Escapes.
And there's a big rat, and it's kissing, and a big giant that says peanut.
It's an ROUS.
It's a peanut.
It's a rodent of unusual size.
Yes. I said the movie Prepare to Die.
Would you recommend the movie?
Yes, I would.
Great.
Raising Arizona.
Oh, man.
I haven't seen this.
So, really?
No, I haven't seen Raising Arizona.
I saw this at a rooftop screening with Mia Allen.
Go!
It's about a dimwit and his wife who steal a baby and raise it as their own. And Holly Hunter's amazing. And so is Nicolas Cage. It's one of the Coen brothers' first movies.
Would you recommend this movie?
Yes.
Okay.
It's hilarious. John Goodman's in it.
Okay.
It's great. The Muppets.
The Muppets.
That's
this
it.
came up. This came up like 7 times, and I'm like, there's like
just the newer
40
Muppets movie.
Muppets. I don't know.
Okay.
That's the thing. There's about. So I'm just gonna go with the one that I remember,
Great.
which is
Muppets Christmas Carol.
No, the first one that I remembered was just the Muppets, which was where they all want to go to Hollywood or something.
Okay.
And Kermit's in a bog and meets Fozzie, and then Piggy, and then there's the guy that wants to sell French fried frog legs. And they escape him. Okay.
Would you recommend this movie?
Yes, I would also recommend watching it because I forget it. Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing. Is it? Man, I don't remember the plot of Dirty Dancing.
That's so great. Try to say what
it's about putting baby in a corner, but nobody puts baby in a corner.
That's not the quote. Try to think of the.
Because Patrick Swayze is like super hot, and then he wants to dance with Deborah Winger or something.
No.
And it's dirty.
No.
And they like have the time of their life.
You're just
and he
saying.
Like, lifts her in the air.
You're just. Oh my God.
Really
would you recommend this movie?
I can't say that I would.
What?
I don't remember Dirty Dancing.
Why can you
I remember pieces of Dirty Dancing.
Oh my God, Dirty Dancing
I haven't
is
seen Dirty
everything.
Dancing since I was
Jessica
18.
Day. Okay, go.
Jessica Day?
Jessica Day watches it when she gets broken up with.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Home Alone.
Home Alone. a child beats up two grown-ass men
who try to break into his
fucking house. The kill count is so fucking high. They would have died at least 14 times in that movie.
It's theft, not just trespassing.
And I would absolutely recommend that movie, especially at Christmas time.
I'm really glad.
Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman. Richard Gere is a rich man who meets a prostitute, call girl, and ends up turning her because Julia Roberts isn't ugly.
You need to make it faster.
Julia Roberts is pretty, and he makes her into a pretty woman.
Yes.
I would recommend that movie.
You would, even though you don't remember. Okay.
I remember Pretty Woman. This is kind of an offshoot. We had it on VHS. No, we didn't have it. My grandparents had it on VHS. And the VHS cover always struck me as really provocative because they're like standing back to back.
Yeah.
But Julia Roberts is wearing
provocative.
these like thigh-high leather boots.
Yes.
And she's like got a hold of his necktie or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was rated R. And so I knew that I couldn't watch it, but I really wanted to. So I was like super curious about that movie.
So then definitely recommend.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. Oh, my turn. Sorry.
Fame.
Fame. A bunch of fucking high school kids sing and dance all over the lunchroom. And one girl in particular accidentally gets into porn.
Oh, okay. Would you recommend that movie?
The old one, yes. Not the new one. The remake can fall up a flight of stairs because it's more embarrassing and probably less painful.
It's possible.
This one's good. You got to make this quick.
Okay.
You promise you'll make it quick?
I promise I'll make it quick.
Ghostbusters.
4 men open a business about capturing ghosts loose in New York City.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend
It's an amazing movie. Okay, your turn.
And finally, A League of Their Own.
A League of Their Own. A bunch of ladies play baseball and they're fucking amazing at it.
Would you recommend this movie?
Absolutely. Last one for you. A League of Their Own.
Well, do you want me to give you the plot?
Why don't you say yours real quick?
Oh, okay, so two sisters from Oregon get hired to play in the All-American Professional Girls Baseball League after the start of World War II.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we watched A League of Their Own. This one came up, I think, 3 times. Yeah. And of one of those times, it had like 4 likes and 5 hearts.
Yeah.
People fucking love this movie. And I can't blame them. It's an amazing movie.
I was 8 when it hit theaters. I think I was 9 or 10 when I first saw it. It was one of those like HBO movies that I remember. Because
movies?
Well, we had HBO when I was younger.
Okay.
And so it was like one of those big premiere Saturday night movies. Where A League of Their Own came on. And it was one that I was actually allowed to watch.
Do you remember all the old like HBO intro title that had like the flashing lights?
That's the first time I saw Terminator 2. Oh. I was with my parents. But Chris really wanted to watch it. And my parents were like, I don't know if they should watch this. And Chris was like, oh, it's fine.
Terminator 2 or A League of Their Own?
Oh, Terminator 2.
I don't know if men should watch A League of Their Own.
I probably shouldn't have watched Terminator 2, but I really remember my first viewing of this movie and it just being so much fun and so enjoyable, and it was hard to find a flaw with it. And I think I was more fascinated that it was based on true events. So
I don't think I saw this until I was like in my teens.
Really?
I think I missed the boat like most things, and the whole reason this podcast exists is that I missed the boat on when this came out. I was rewatching Cabaret and Cats. That's fun. And Friends. That's it. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
So no, I can't remember when I watched this, but I remember being like, how did I not know this movie existed?
This truly is one of those feel-good movies. It's up there with Ferris Bueller's Day Off for me.
That also came up a bunch of times.
Those movies that always just like are like soul food.
Yep. They make you they make all the happy.
The plot breakdown per IMDb: 2 sisters join the first female professional baseball league and struggle to help it succeed amidst their own growing rivalry.
Yes. It's also like, even though they're both fully grown women, it's still a coming of age story.
It's a love story.
It's like they're coming into their own. Yeah. It's a love story with their passion, a love story between sisters.
Mm-hmm. Individually, because Dottie's at a very different place than Kit is.
And like identity. And there is one thing that I was going to ask you, because watching it now, I feel like there's a different dynamic than I did when I was younger.
Sure.
When I was younger, I always thought that Dottie and Tom Hanks, what's Tom Hanks' character?
Jimmy Duke.
Jimmy. I always thought there was like some sexual tension between them.
There was. We're bridging a little bit into trivia. There in real life, no. But in the movie, there was originally going to be like a love story between them.
Oh.
But Penny Marshall stepped on that real fast.
The director,
because she didn't want a love story getting in the way of everything else that was happening. And Penny Marshall is an amazing director.
Insane
like she passed
director.
away, and Gary Marshall passed away, I think both of them last few years.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them are in this movie. Penny Marshall was, of course, famous for playing Laverne and Shirley.
Mm-hmm.
They were both, I think, in either Happy Days and Taxi. I think they were both in that. But it's a brother-sister duo. They were in Hocus Pocus. They played the married couple that the witches like going to their house.
Oh my God!
Gary Marshall and Penny Marshall. They play brother and sister, don't they? Or,
no, they're
husband
and wife.
Yeah.
That would be a very odd brother and sister dynamic if it was.
I mean, it's because they're actually real brother and sister.
Oh.
In real life.
Then that's even weirder.
Right.
That's even weirder.
Which I thought was funny, seeing that in Hocus Pocus. But Penny Marshall was the first female director, because of this movie, she was the first female director to cross $100 million at the box office. So this, back in 1992, set a big precedent, I think, for female directors moving forward. It may not have like pushed the envelope as fast as it needed to.
No, but it's now, something. It's a start. We wouldn't be where we are without it.
I feel like you can really see a lot of the benefits that this movie worked really hard to achieve.
No, when I was younger, I thought that there was a romance there, and now that I'm older, watching it again, I was like, no, I don't see it. They were just friends. They were being supportive,
and
of
not to say like there's
romance.
not like some attraction there.
No, but there's no like follow through in it. It's just like I appreciate you, and he's like I appreciate you.
They respect each other as like
as people,
and as like baseball players. But she ends up more or less like kind of saving him from his alcoholism.
Pretty much.
Way. Like there's that scene on the bus where he goes for his flask and she gives him a Coca-Cola.
I love that. That's
so little moments like that.
I love that scene. Okay.
So again, directed by Penny Marshall, starring Tom Hanks as Jimmy Dugan, Gina Davis plays Donnie Henson.
Again, Cutthroat Island.
Lori Petty, who was another huge actress in the 90s, plays her younger sister Kit. Madonna is amazing as Mae Mortebito.
So great.
Rosie O'Donnell was actually in the supporting cast. I don't think she was like a big
name yet.
Not yet. It wasn't like the mid-90s yet.
So great.
But the supporting cast of all these female actors: Megan Cavanaugh, who plays Marla Hooch, Tracy Reiner, who plays Betty Spaghetti, Ann Cusack, who's one of the Cusacks, sister to Joan and John. Téa Leoni is in this randomly, like one of her
and she's
first
like
movies.
a 5 and under, if that. She's more like a featured extra.
Essentially,
in this movie.
I don't think she actually says anything.
No,
but
I think she nods at one point.
Yeah. It's an amazing cast. The writers, the story was written by Kim Wilson and Kelly Candelay. But the screenplay was by Lowell Gantz and Babaloo Mandel. Oh, Babaloo.
Oh, Babaloo.
Babaloo Mandel.
Babaloo.
So written by 2 guys, directed by a woman. But it was huge. I think the budget was $40 million, but made over $100 million at the box office.
Yay.
Critics more or less loved it. I think Metascore has it at a 67.
That's good.
Which is technically in the green. So that's always good.
Solid.
Yeah. So should we just?
Yeah. I mean, like basically, it starts. Where are my notes?
It starts in Oregon.
Well, it starts out in Willamette.
It just says Willamette, Oregon.
Not Willamette Valley, not where. It's just Willamette.
And as 2 people from Oregon, we're like, I never really minded that. It was more or less like in the Willamette Valley, where like all of these like dairy.
But there's no it's not like you could go, oh yeah, I live at 25 Ben Street, Willamette, Oregon.
It could be in Eugene. It could be in Corvallis.
Right.
It could be in Salem.
It's somewhere in farm area.
Farm country. Yes.
Right. And so it opens on them, and they are playing softball, right?
Oh, baseball.
I think it's softball because they're throwing underhand.
Oh, they're throwing underhand.
And that's something I actually noticed because I wrote down, I was like, why are they throwing underhand? And then I noticed later on when they're doing the training, they actually teach them try throwing overhand. And they were all doing underhand until that moment, which I thought was a really great touch.
So I wonder if women only played softball up until that point.
I think so.
Because I don't think women baseball players really existed before.
No, it was all softball. And
interesting.
So they're playing a game, and they immediately are introduced to Kit and Dottie's rivalry / love for each other, which I don't know, like I never had that with my sibling. I was going to say siblings. I just have one brother.
Yeah.
I never had any of that. Like, we had some of that, but I was the older sibling, so I would have been in Dottie's shoes.
I don't know if I really fell into that either, because Chris, Annie, and Gabriel all played basketball.
Right.
And so I was sort of the odd man out from all of that.
Because you didn't want to play basketball?
I mean, it just didn't really interest me. I played for a season in like 7th grade, but I played hockey for the most part. So that, as far as like that protective nature, that's something that I get.
Or the competitive nature for sports.
Well, having like a twin brother, like.
Well, yeah, okay, then you get that.
The competition is real.
Yeah.
But there's also like that protective sort of let me give you unsolicited advice kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Or let me do my own thing and stop giving me unsolicited advice.
Right.
Like, I'm my own person, which is like half the story of this movie. Which is great. It's done really well.
So then an agent, a baseball agent?
Jon Lovitz
comes in.
He's a recruiter.
He's a fucking gem. What an awesome character.
They wrote the part specifically for Jon Lovitz.
Did they really?
Yes.
I can see why.
Yeah.
He's this silver-tongued asshole that comes over and says, hey, I want you, Dottie specifically.
Because Dottie's amazing, but she's also good looking.
Right. And so he's like, I want you to come and join what we're creating, which is this new women's professional baseball league.
And the reason they've created it is because America is now involved in World War II.
Right.
So that's going to take
all of the men
away.
Not
overseas. All of the men in real life. They actually brought up players from the minor leagues to fill those spots.
Oh.
The popularity for the sport was kind of going downhill.
Interesting. So
teams weren't allowed to travel as much because of they had to ration fuel.
Oh.
They couldn't make trips back and forth because gas was needed for General Patton and his tanks.
Right.
So here we are. So they've created this professional baseball league.
And they want the women to come. And then the sister is like, I'll come. Yeah, great. And Dottie's like, I don't really want to. I'm married.
Because Dottie's married. Her husband is fighting in the Pacific. No, he's fighting in Italy.
Yeah. And they're planning on settling down once he comes home. So she's like, no, that's okay. I'm fine. And Kit essentially kind of guilts her into saying, I can't be my own person here. Right. I need to get out of this place, and this is my one shot.
I also think it's important to establish that, again, Geena Davis is made to be statuesque and gorgeous, even though she is she's a dairy farmer
underneath a cow.
But you see the disparity between Geena Davis and Lori Petty.
Yeah.
Where you can see Jon Lovitz wants Geena Davis because he even says you're kind of a doll and that's what we're going for. You're attractive.
I apologize. We actually missed a very important part.
Did we?
Yes. The beginning of this story does not start with them going to baseball. It starts with her showing up to the honoree thing. Geena Davis's character, Dottie, shows up. She's older, and she's coming to this honorary event
for the American Girls Baseball League. She doesn't want to go,
but her daughter makes her go. And so then she has this moment. She's staring at a baseball field, and then we flash back into what we're talking about now.
Right.
That's important.
Yeah, and the actress who played older Geena Davis was actually dubbed over.
I thought for the longest time that was just incredible makeup.
No,
I did. I thought,
and even the ADR is not totally clean.
It's close.
It's really close.
It's really close, but there are a couple of spots if you watch for it.
Yeah.
So essentially, Geena Davis's character is like, okay, we'll go. So they.
But Kit can only go if Dottie goes. That's Jon Lovitz's bargain.
Right.
And Kit's a pitcher, and she's trying to prove herself. And Jon Lovitz is like, no, if Dottie goes, then you can go. But other than that, we don't want you.
Right. So then they run to catch the train.
Yep, they caught it. And then they have to stop off in Colorado because they're looking at another girl, which is when we're reduced to
Marla
Hooch.
Marla Hooch.
Who hits like Babe Ruth, has an eye like DiMaggio, but looks like
the underside of
General
a shoe.
Omar Bradley.
That's what it was. General Omar Bradley.
And there's this beautiful, heart-touching moment because Marla's mother died, we don't know how. And she was essentially raised by her father from what we can assume is a young age.
Yeah.
And Jon Lovitz is like, whoa, she's ugly, she's talented, but no, we don't want her because she's horrible to look at. And the dad is pleading with her, saying, I raised her as a boy because I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
Don't make her suffer because of my mistake. And it's this heartbreaking moment because you feel not only the weight of the World War happening, but also Marla being essentially carted away from her home to go play baseball. She's like, who's going to take care of my dad?
Yeah.
Like, who's going to cook for you? And he's like, don't worry about it. You have to go do this.
Right.
This is going to be the greatest thing that's going to get you out of here.
And it was interesting, like watching it again. It's great. And it's also really hard seeing how much they hammer into her appearance.
Yes.
It is appropriate for the time.
Right.
Which that's again where I'm like, okay, it makes sense for the story.
Yes.
But it's like their one shot when they're like doing ads for it.
Hooch?
How about Marla Hooch?
And
she's like 20 yards away or something. She's a hitter.
I think they make 3 jokes about it, which the jokes come in 3s.
Yes.
They do like the beauty school one.
Right.
There's the one about General Omar Bradley.
And then her being really far away.
Of her being really far away.
Yeah, but it's hard. Like,
it's a recurring joke, but nowadays you're right.
I don't know how well that would do. But
there are some things that
it makes sense for the time.
Yeah, exactly. And it was funny.
It's funny.
You know, I feel like the actress made the absolute most of that part.
Yes.
She was, but on the flip side of that, she's very good at baseball. She is ungodly talented at it. You know,
I love too that I'm getting a little bit off. I love too. There was a moment that I thought was so important that they honored when they're like practicing, and then there's a black woman and several of her friends off on the side. Yeah, where there's like a ball that goes loose, and she takes it and throws it back to them, and it goes past Dottie to the person behind her and like hurts her hand when she catches it. And it's just such a beautiful, very subtle commentary on still, even at a level where women are treated less than men, Black women are treated even less than less.
Like they had their own section of bleachers where they sat the Black people who were watching,
oh my God.
the game.
It was just, it was a great
I feel
moment.
like they could have done a little bit more with that segregation of what baseball was, or at least women's baseball. Yeah. So, anyhow, no, I was going to touch on that.
Oh, that was so great.
And it wasn't very long either.
No.
It was like, Black
and
people too.
So then they go through this tryout session because there's like 100 girls there, but only 64 are going to be picked. And then that's when we're introduced to Madonna
and
Rosie O'Donnell, who I would fucking love to play Rosie O'Donnell's part.
They became actual best friends because of this movie.
Did they really?
To this day, like they're actual BFFs.
That makes me so happy.
Great. And Madonna's awesome in this movie.
Oh my God.
Like, again, it's sort of like Matthew McConaughey. Like, if you're given the right vehicle and you really want to show up, you absolutely can.
Yeah.
And this part was like handwritten for Madonna. Rosie O'Donnell as well. She plays like this loudmouth, Staten Island gal.
I loved that.
And it was just a really great dynamic to have these like 2 Oregon farm girls, Marla Hooch, and then you have, Rosie and Madonna.
Right.
Who are like kind of the loudmouth ones and kind of in your face a little bit.
And I love that too, that they brought, and then there's also too, towards the end, once they've announced all the teams, there's that girl that doesn't know how to read.
Yeah.
And she like goes up and she's
Suzanne
clearly,
Cusack,
that's right, Cusack. She goes up and she's clearly trying to figure out where she is. And a gal comes up and kind of helps her. Yeah. And I thought that was also a really great commentary on classism and just like how there were probably several women there who didn't know how to read, who, came from very poor upbringings. And
this all comes from, in my opinion, like not only an opportunity to get out of the kitchen, like a Rosie the Riveter type of thing, but like do your duty for your country, that kind of thing. I think that's an aspect of it. Because if you think of the boys who went off to fight Hitler, these are kids who were raised during the Depression. If you think of the paratroopers, the reason these men volunteered for the paratroopers was because they were paid extra money every week.
Right.
You got paid $75 a week to be a paratrooper, and they're like, cool, sign me up. So everyone came from a very specific sort of sect as far as their class, as far as their upbringing, and you see that in these baseball tryouts. You see these farm girls who happen to be really good, who were brought into the forefront and have an opportunity to not only play professionally, but do a duty for their country.
Right.
And again, you see like some of them don't know how to read. Some of them don't know how to pitch overhand and then we get into the next segment after everyone is on their team. They show them the uniform, which is basically a 1940s bathing suit.
Offensive. And I feel bad though for the girl that was modeling it. Like I know that the actress is supposed to be like, oh, look how cute I am. And then she feels really embarrassed because everybody hates what she's wearing. I would hate to have been that actor to like walk up there and be like, oh, be sexy. Now everyone's going to hate what you're wearing and hate you. Right. So be disappointed.
Like I can't slide in that. That skirt's way too short.
Right.
And then they're basically like, well, if you don't play in this, you don't play for us, essentially.
Right.
And they send them to charm and beauty school.
Because they all have to be ladies. Because there's nothing more important in baseball than etiquette and poise.
Yes, than knowing how to drink your tea. Yes.
Jesus
Christ. It was
so ridiculous.
And it really happened. Like, I'll get into a little bit of trivia about that, just to tell you about
insanity.
Like the minutia of what was expected of these women is insane.
So they start doing games and they realize that the games are not going very well because people kind of treat it as a joke. Yeah. Like, everybody's like, you guys can't play baseball. You're being ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so then they keep going.
Yeah.
And that's when they're introduced to their amazing coach.
Yes.
Tom Hanks,
who plays Jimmy Dugan, who is not a real life baseball player. That his character was based on two real life.
Two different people.
They kind of squash
okay.
This is, and I will take this to my grave, my favorite Tom Hanks performance. And I know that's saying a lot. I think
Have you seen Joe versus the Volcano?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying before this.
Have you seen Splash?
Before 1992, Tom Hanks did a lot of like these more comedic roles.
Right.
And I think this was like kind of the
a
end
little
of
bit
that.
of a bridge.
This is before both Philadelphia and Forrest Gump. For which he won Academy Awards. I mean, he's amazing. He plays a gay man with AIDS.
Oh.
And Denzel Washington is the attorney who's like representing him in this case. It's amazing.
Okay.
But Tom Hanks,
still feel good movie.
Tom Hanks is so drop down, sloppy, drunk, and just like
that. Pathetic.
Like he really is.
Like, you just feel bad watching him.
He's also so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like, his timing, his physical comedy.
Yep.
Like, Tom Hanks.
The pee, by the way.
Oh man.
I recorded it. It's 51 seconds.
Yes.
A 51-second pee.
Yeah. And I'll get into a little bit of trivia about the pee.
Oh my God. I'm so excited. Okay.
But
great.
I love seeing Tom Hanks in a very physical comedic role because you often think of him in maybe these other parts because we've seen Forrest Gump, we've seen Castaway, we've seen Captain Phillips and all these where he's just so damn good at the dramatic work. But to see him like really just be so drop down, pathetic, slovenly, he gained 30 pounds for the role.
And like to have such a character arc too. Like this is an incredibly well written role anyways. And he does it such service.
He's a good baseball player.
So many ways.
He hit like 56 home runs in one season, like 4 of them in the World Series.
And his fall from grace is that he just got into alcohol.
Yeah, he wasted 5 years of his life. And the owner of the league is like, I'm going to give you a job coaching the girls team if you want,
because you did so much for us when you were playing.
Exactly. So they give him this opportunity. Tom Hanks ends up coaching the team, and the Rockford Peaches consist of course, Gina Davis, Lori Petty, Madonna, Rosie O'Donnell. They're all put on the same team because you have like this great kind of
question. I don't understand why the logo has the 2 scales weights thing. They're the Rockford Peaches, but it has a scale on it.
Oh.
And I don't know why.
I don't know.
I'm really curious about
that. I wonder if all the uniforms have that.
Yeah, they all have different. No, they don't all have that. They all have something specific to, I think, where they came from.
Oh, interesting.
Anyways.
I don't know.
But so
now Tom Hanks is coaching the team.
Well, coaching.
Yeah, like he's just showing up and kind of waving his hat around. And they're
Gina Davis is
essentially, kind of how Kurt Russell ended up directing Tombstone and not George G. Cosmatatos or whatever the fuck his name was. You know, you just end up like doing a job you didn't.
You know what? I'll just fucking do it.
So Gina Davis ends up more or less coaching and giving like the lead offs for the games and everything. They're trying to like make these big flamboyant flash moments to get people to the games.
Right.
So we have like 3 different montages in this movie.
Oh yeah.
The first one is them training. The second one is them like kind of going throughout the season, playing all these different games. And it turns out Rockford is really good. Mm-hmm. And Tom Hanks starts to wake up to this a little bit. He's like, oh, I don't actually just have women. I have
good ball players.
Pretty good ball players here. Even though he's like trying to like work with them, and
he's still very rough around the edges. Yeah,
and he makes one girl cry, which leads to what is the number 54 greatest
famous
movie quote of all time, which is
"There's no crying in baseball."
And
she's crying, sir.
And the umpire is like, "She's crying, sir." Like, can you fucking believe this?
And then the umpire is like, "Okay, look, I want you to treat them like you would treat your mom."
Yeah,
okay.
Okay.
And then he says,
ever tell you look like a penis with a little hat on?
Then he every
time I almost fall off the fucking couch.
But so, and also too, while all of this is happening, there's also again coming of, I guess, yourself, an arrival of self for all these girls, because again, they're away from home. They have this one night out where they poison their chaperone so that they can go out to a bar or something.
Yeah,
and
a roadhouse.
Yeah. And like that's when Marla ends up getting plastered and singing "It Had to Be You" at the top of her lungs.
But you also see Kit, who's like flirting with this guy. Kit's probably never been kissed by a boy. Probably having her first beer and cigarettes, getting her nails painted.
And Rosie O'Donnell and Madonna having this insane swing dance. Oh my God, it made me miss swing dance so much. And like,
it's they're penny
so
loafers.
Much fun.
Like, it's really, really great. It's a very fun scene. It's shot incredibly well.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they're not only playing baseball, they're like trying to have their own freedom and live their life and express themselves in certain ways. The league is not doing very well, as it turns out. And so the founders are like, hey, you guys need to do whatever you can to like get attendance.
There's a Times Magazine guy here that's going to be taking pictures. And unless you guys do something interesting, we're going to close down.
Yeah. So Gina Davis catches a fly foul ball by doing the splits.
Like you do.
And just like that.
I was like, when I saw that, I was like, okay, is that actually her though? Like,
so
did
Gina
she
Davis,
actually do that?
This is also getting into trivia. Gina Davis could do the splits. She just couldn't slide into it. So the shot they use of her like still catching the ball, that's Gina Davis.
But this like
she had to use a stunt double who slid into the splits. Which I think is different.
That's okay.
That's fine.
I'm okay with that. She can actually do it. Sliding into it. Because that's also too, that was quick. It was like catch down.
Boom.
Like that's hard.
It was really,
So she does that, and then they all start doing like little things throughout, like catch a foul ball, get a kiss, and like, all these different fun things to like make it more interesting.
And so the league is becoming more popular.
It's kind of like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball.
Right. Which actually in real life wasn't true. Like the league was actually pretty popular from its inception.
Really?
But I feel like it was a really interesting take to build drama.
It builds stakes. Yeah. It creates those high stakes.
It puts the story on a forward projection. Yes. It comes to kind of a head where Kit is pitching, but she's got nothing left.
She's like, exhausted.
She has nothing. And Gina Davis confers with Tom Hanks and says, well, we're taking her out of the game. And then Kit and Dottie end up having this huge sort of butting of heads. And Gina Davis is about to walk away.
Because when she's doing that, why do you think she walks away?
I've always been a little conflicted about this because I never really knew why Gina Davis was playing. Like she always came off as like, not that I'm better than this, but at the same time, I'm not passionate about this, even though
I'm really good at it.
Even though she's really good at it. And Tom Hanks is like, no, you're alive when you play baseball. Like it's what feeds you. It's what lights you up. And so part of me is like, is she doing this because she's tired of it? But I really think that she's trying to think of her sister and give her her time in the sun, because she casts such a long shadow, and that can't be easy for her to live in.
Right. I think she's going in this back and forth between, I want to make sure that I give my sister the opportunities that she wants. And, maybe she's riding on my coattails, but if I slip out, she could keep going. But then also, too, I think she does love the game. I think that she absolutely has a passion. And so there's a part of her that knows that she's almost too good for her sister to succeed. So she decides to gracefully bow out. That's what I think it is. And so she's like, I'm going to go. And she says to the founder, look, like, I'm done. He's like, you can't leave. He's like, is there something going on with you and your sister? Because I saw you guys fighting. And she's like, look, just figure it out. And he's like, I can move you guys around.
Yeah, she says something very specific. Dottie says, trade me or whatever. But figure it out by tomorrow, because if not, I'm leaving. And it ends up, they actually end up trading Kit to another team. And then Kit gets furious. Like they have this even bigger, heated argument. Which
leads to the maybe
55th greatest.
Where they're fighting. And and then the woman comes out and she says,
has anyone seen my new red hat?
I'll piss on your red hat. Or is it?
Well, that was uncalled for.
Anytime.
Great one-liners.
Anytime that there's an awkward situation.
Anytime in life, just use that line.
Walk into a situation and say, has anyone seen my new red hat?
It's literally great
So
one-liners in this
great.
movie that you forget about. So Kit has ended up traded to Racine. And then I think literally the next day we get it's
our last montage.
Is not only before the montage.
No,
it's
not
probably
the
most powerful scene in the movie, where
the
guy from the War Department shows up with a letter,
a telegram,
essentially meaning this is a telegram stating that your husband is dead.
Which the lines that they gave that guy were so great.
Yeah,
he's so insensitive.
He comes in and he's like, "Oh man, I got a letter here. I can't find the name, but man, these are the worst.
One of your husbands died.
You think at least they could, send,
a family
something
member.
more than a telegram, right?" And Tom Hanks is like, "Just give me the fucking."
He's like, "Oh, I can't give you the letter."
He shoves the guy out. He takes it's this heartbreaking moment where and again, I feel like you feel sort of the World War II kind of hovering over everything, and it's just one of those moments where Tom Hanks, he like reads the telegram. He knows who it's for. And he's like walking through the locker room and passing all these women who are like holding their breath to try and get ready for that moment. And just the construction of that scene and the way it was written and the way it was shot, the way it was it was so well done.
And here's the thing: I don't wish to say that what we're dealing with right now is anything like a world war, because it's not. We're not fighting an enemy. We're not at war with people, but we are dealing with something that is causing a significant loss of life that has no prejudice. It will come for any and everybody. And just the same in that instance where, to a degree, right now, if I found out just recently someone had passed away, and as soon as I tell anybody else about it, the first thing they ask is from COVID. It doesn't matter if a person passed away from something else. Yeah. That's at the forefront of everyone's minds right now, which is hard and sad. But it's like, I felt that. I was like, oh my God, to a degree, we're experiencing something very different, but also very similar to what people deal with when they're dealing with a world war.
Yeah, larger than life events.
Yeah, you're separated from your loved ones and you're not sure what's going to happen.
And something you can't control.
No,
so
and it was,
feel all of it.
But then again, it's like, well, we still have a game to play.
Yeah. Like the show must go on, essentially, which is not so much in the case we're living now. No. But
and then luckily,
Bill Pullman
shows up.
Yeah, Lone Star from Spaceballs shows up, and he was shot in the leg by a sniper.
This is Geena Davis's husband. Yes, if you haven't seen the movie.
Yes, so he was shot in the leg. He was honorably discharged because he can't do anything because he was shot in the leg. So he's home now.
So she's like.
But before that, you see Geena Davis kind of absorbing what just happened. After the game is played, she's alone in her room, bawling her eyes out because she was ready for Tom Hanks to say, "Oh, your husband's dead." Right. But he shows up and he's safe, and all of a sudden she just decides I don't want to do this anymore. We're going to go back to Oregon. Kit's been traded to another team. None of this matters anymore. And so the Peaches are in the World Series. They're a good team, and they're gonna, as serendipity would have it, they're going to fight against Racine, which is Kit's team. So Geena Davis gets to Illinois, and then they turn back.
So they effectively have a couple more games where there's 4 or 5 games that Geena Davis is not a part of. She's already back in Oregon heading away at that point. Yeah. And so they get to the World Series, and it's down 7. Between them, Racine, and the Rockford Peaches.
To game 7.
To game 7, and then they're warming up.
High stakes.
And Geena Davis appears.
Yeah.
And just shows up already in uniform, warming up for pitching.
Tom Hanks is like, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, he turned back.
Got as far as Illinois. I'm not.
You're right. I love this, and I want to play." And he's like, "Well, I don't know if I'm going to let you play because we've had, Alice filling in, and Alice is she's got teeth missing,
battered,
a big cut on her face.
She looks like she's fallen down a tree and hit every branch on the way.
Alice is doing great.
Alice is doing awesome.
And so anyway, she plays, and Tom Hanks is super happy. He's like, "We're gonna win."
Yeah. Oh my God! Also, the kid
who plays Stillwell,
the little kid that plays Stillwell. That's the little shit the entire time.
So good.
Oh my God!
So they end up playing this game. Spoilers, I guess, because this movie is 30.
Still watch it. It doesn't. Oh my God!
Amazing. The Peaches end up losing. Geena Davis. Did she drop the ball on purpose?
And that's what I was going to ask you. I don't know if Dottie dropped the ball on purpose or if she dropped it on accident.
I don't think she dropped it on purpose. I think Kit hit her so hard
that it knocked her out. It knocked that out.
I feel like it was just a lifetime of fuck you. I want to be my own person, and she just threw herself into her like a human torpedo.
I feel like she dropped it.
You think so?
I think so.
Because the same exact thing happens earlier in the movie, and she holds on to it. Yeah, but you have all these great moments where you see like you get this moment with
like Kit going at,
and Geena Davis like almost. I don't know if she's like making the decision in the moment. She's like trying to brace herself for it.
There were a lot of split second decisions.
I feel like she's like not ready for it.
No.
Like, she sees Kit coming and she's like, oh shit.
Right.
Like,
and this is the last, like if she passes and is safe, they win. Like it's down to
shot
this.
And it's cut in such a great way that you really feel like the stakes up until that final moment.
Well, with Rosie O'Donnell being out in the field being like, oh my God!
More! So that would be me at most like sporting events in high school.
Yes.
Like I was just the outspoken guy who didn't play any of this.
Why does that
I was just the kid who
not surprise me? Every Blazer game that we've ever gone to, that is exactly
we ended
what
up
I
on the
see.
No, we didn't get the kiss cam, but we got like the prize cam, remember?
No.
We won something? Yeah. We were at a
did?
Blazer game. And they gave us like tickets to some. I don't remember what the hell it was, but do you remember that?
I think you're thinking of Taco Tuesday, where just Taco Bell coupons rain down from the sky.
What happened.
I feel like that's
came
what
up
happened.
to our section.
I don't
put
know.
The camera on us.
What?
And gave us.
Are you
something.
sure that wasn't someone else?
I don't remember what it was.
Are you sure it was me?
I'm pretty sure it was you, Megan.
No.
Because we've been to a few Blazer games.
We have. We've been to 2.
If that was someone else, can you comment or message below?
If that was someone else that Ben dated before me,
I'm pretty sure it was my wife.
Clean it up, just get some clarity there.
I'm pretty sure it was
anyways, it's so
the Peaches lose. Racine wins. Kit finally gets her moment in the sun. She's the champion. She's being hoisted up on everyone's shoulders.
And then we go back to Geena Davis in present time, regaling everything, and they're opening this exhibit specifically for the Hall of Fame for these women. And then there's this really gorgeous moment between Dottie and Kit where they're reunited, which the casting for those women look like the search that they had to have done for that.
You really have to go on and look.
God.
I need to look up the lady who played older Geena Davis because she was
uncanny.
A bombshell.
Oh yeah, she's
back
gorgeous.
In the day, and you just have to get on her IMDb.
But you can tell, like looking at her, even at the age that she's in this movie, you can just tell, like, oh, she must have been fucking stunning.
Yes,
in her heyday,
and she absolutely is. I just need to look up her name.
So at any rate,
here she is. Her name is Lynn Cartwright. Unfortunately, she passed away in 2004, but she had 50 years as an actor in film and television. And the shot that they use for her IMDb page is stunning.
Yeah.
Like, she is a bombshell. Lynn Cartwright, who played the older version of Geena Davis. So now we go to...
Oh, wait. Would you recommend this movie?
Fuck yeah, I would.
I would as well.
It is like one of the biggest feel-good movies. The fact that it's loosely based on a true story, even if it's not like point for point actually what happened.
Yes.
It's so inspiring and so good that you just can't help but enjoy it. It's one of those movies that you just don't want to walk away from.
No, it's so great.
My favorite Tom Hanks movie. My favorite performance of his. Still is.
So they first started in 1943.
Yeah.
That was the first year. Mm-hmm. And then they continued every year until 1954.
Yep.
So almost 10 years.
Yeah, it of course decreased in popularity as, the war ended.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, like the teams were like legitimately good. And they had a lot of really good ball players.
I'm just trying to figure out what the scale thing means.
The scale?
That's going to drive me crazy.
Oh, as far as the symbol.
Yeah. It's going to drive me bonkers. Okay, at any rate.
Shall we hop into would you recommend this movie?
Yes. Oh yeah. I would recommend to literally anybody that isn't a
stranger,
chauvinistic like dick.
Yeah.
And even then I'd be like, you could probably figure out a way to get through it. Like it's an amazing movie. It really is. So well written. It covers so many different areas of just like Yeah, it's an amazing movie.
Yeah, and it truly is a love story between two sisters. Like that's really.
I don't think it's a love story between two sisters.
I think it is.
I think it's many things.
Well, yes, but at its core, I feel like it revolves around the relationship between Dottie and Kit.
If I was to get super intense about the meaning, I would say that it is about the different kinds of love.
Okay.
Because and I learned this in high school, I cannot tell you if you showed me on a map to point out where North Dakota is.
Okay.
I can't tell you, but I do know that there's 4 different terms in Latin for kinds of love, which is the romantic love, there's family love, there's self-love, and friendship love.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like this movie covers all of those bases.
Yeah, I think so.
In terms of love of your family, love of yourself, romantic love, and then love of your friends. But I think it also covers passion, what you love to do and what brings you alive.
Absolutely.
So I don't think it's necessarily just a love story. I think that's part of it.
Oh,
but
sure,
I think there's just so much to it. It's not a complicated storyline, but there's a lot of meanings.
There are complicated characters.
There are complicated characters.
Yes,
life's complicated, as it turns out.
People are complicated.
People are complicated.
Shall we have some trivia?
Let's do it. Bum ba-da-dum, bum bum ba-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-dum. Bum, 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 bum. I need to get a kazoo. I should get a kazoo and do that.
We should get instruments.
While you are, yes.
During the filming of the World Series games, stars took turns entertaining the hundreds of unpaid extras. Tom Hanks did puppet shows over the dugout.
Oh!
Rosie O'Donnell did stand-up comedy. And various actors pretended to be Madonna and sang her songs after the singer balked at performing for the fans, which I think was kind of shitty.
Balked at performing?
Yeah.
She said she wouldn't do it?
No, she wouldn't do it.
The fuck?
I know. Madonna.
You're
a performer.
Madonna, we know you're watching and listening. Go back and find all of those extras and get them together for a concert and do an apology concert. Sing at least 4 songs to make up for that shit.
The strawberry bruise that Renee Coleman
Alice
had
right.
on her thigh remained on her leg for over a year.
Wait.
That actually happened.
That was a real injury?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I even thought the makeup that was done for that was so incredible.
All injuries and bruises in the film were real injuries that the actresses received during filming.
Oh my God.
Geena Davis joined the production as a late replacement for Deborah Winger, who was originally supposed to play Dottie Henson a few days before filming was due to start. Davis's character was supposed to be one of the greatest female baseball players in America, and the cast had been doing baseball training for months at this point. Within weeks, Geena Davis had completely mastered the game and was regularly beating her co-stars in it.
So
she's just a born athlete.
She's just fucking
she
amazing
also has
at
an IQ
everything.
of 140. She's a genius.
She's in Glow too, and she's amazing in Glow.
She is.
Like I fucking love her so much.
She's
her
classic.
And Sigourney Weaver. I'm like, those are my serious log lines. I'm fucking obsessed with you.
Lori Petty was in reality a faster runner than Geena Davis and had to run slower while appearing she was running.
Oh, for the run when they were running for this.
When they're running from.
Because she's a lot taller.
She is. Yeah. She's like a gazelle.
Yeah.
Yes, but Lori Petty was much faster.
Interesting.
The characters at the Baseball Hall of Fame, as seen playing as the credits roll, are real original players from the league that are portrayed in the movie. There's also some who are at that baseball game at the end of the movie. Some of them have lines where that one lady's like, "Oh, who's that?" She's like, "Oh, that's Dottie Henson," and the lady who says that Dottie Henson is actually
Dottie Henson.
It is actually no. She played in the league for I think 7 years, and I think was their best player.
Oh.
Again, for the famous split catch, Geena Davis had to have a stunt double slide into the split. Although Davis could do the splits as shown, she could not slide into it. So there's that.
Huh.
Let's see. Actresses auditioning for the film had to prove they could play baseball. All the actresses cast in the film, apart from Geena Davis, did their own baseball stunts.
Wow.
And none of the performers wanted stunt doubles. So they were
wow. Oh, I love that.
Tom Hanks gained 30 pounds in preparation for the role. He attributed the weight he gained to there was a nearby Dairy Queen close to their base camp. So that's just where he went. All during filming, Penny Marshall encouraged Hanks to keep eating. Meanwhile, she was telling Rosie O'Donnell to eat as little as possible, which I don't know if that was a joke.
Is that a joke trivia thing?
I don't know.
Huh.
Rosie O'Donnell's a big girl.
I mean, she is, but she's not unhealthy. She doesn't look unhealthy.
I don't think so. The movie's line, "There's no crying in baseball," was voted as number 54 movie quote by the American Film Institute. This movie was inducted into Congress's film registry for preservation in 2012, so it's now a permanent part of the American history / cultural zeitgeist. After league tryouts were completed, all the players were sent to charm and beauty school. This is factual, and the real AAGPBL players were sent to the Helena Rubinstein Beauty Salon to be made over, and they attended Helena Rubinstein's evening charm school. After afternoon practices for proper etiquette, hygiene, and the league's dress code were taught and reinforced. I have a few little tidbits about that.
Okay.
So, the proper etiquette for every situation was taught, and every aspect of personal hygiene, mannerisms, and dress code was presented to all players. In effect, to make each player as physically attractive as possible, each received a beauty kit and instructions on how to use it.
Oh, no.
As a part of the league's rules of conduct, the girls were not permitted to have short hair, they could not smoke or drink in public places, and they were required to wear lipstick at all times.
What?
Fines for not following the league's rules of conduct were $5 for the first offense, $10 for the second, and then you were suspended for the third.
For not wearing
Josephine
lipstick?
Jojo D'Angelo was fired for cutting her hair short. Women's contracts were much stricter about behavior than in the men's league.
What the fuck?
And each team was also assigned its own chaperone. So,
oh my God.
How far we've come, thank the Lord. But I feel like, again, this was kind of the kickoff for a lot of professional women's sports, whether it be soccer, whether it be basketball.
Yeah.
You know, I can't think of anything pre-World War II that was actually an official, nationally recognized club. So it was cool to take some of that factuality, to take something that actually existed, and make a movie and make a really fun story about it.
And it's written so fucking well. The dialogue is natural. It's funny. It's sweet. It's gut wrenching. This is an incredible movie.
It really is.
A truly incredible movie.
Made in a time when really good movies were made. This was the early 90s.
Oh,
before everything became tentpole franchises and stuff like that.
It was just a good movie for the sake of being a good movie.
It's its own story. It's a good story for the sake of being a good story.
It didn't need a sequel.
No.
There is a fun fact that I did want to add. One of our previous guests was actually involved with a unofficial musical version of A League of Their Own. Our wonderful friend Lindsay Brooks.
Yes.
Hi, Lindsay. She actually was casting a version of this. It's a musical, an unauthorized musical version of A League of Their Own out in LA. There was also this other super weird version, musical version of A League of Their Own that was done, but it's pre-League of Their Own. So it's the girls are not all together. I think Dottie and Kit aren't there.
Okay.
But a bunch of other girls are there, and they discover a radium plant or something, and they have to fight the people that have made a radium plant, and it's a musical, but there's no baseball. I'm not sure. I don't know. I have no idea what happened. I remember seeing it and I was like, okay. I feel like there's a lot of things going on. That's like pouring chocolate onto your spaghetti. It's too much. What are we doing? At any rate. But yeah, I can see why so many people voted for this movie. And
it's a feel-good movie in a time where, I feel like we all need something to make us feel uplifted and believe in the human condition and, that even through hardship, things are going to be okay.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen this movie,
take 2 hours out of your life.
You absolutely will be happy that you watch this movie
tonight or tomorrow.
Yes. Just fucking do it. I
Do
swear to God, do it.
I'd love to pull another movie off of these lists because I feel like
there's a lot of really good ones.
Track with these kind of early 90s feel-good movies.
And again, there's several that I haven't seen on there.
That's great.
So I haven't seen When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
There's so many of them.
So let's pick one off of this list. If you guys have any more suggestions, we'll throw something on Instagram and Facebook and see what we get back. But thank you so much for your suggestions. Keep them coming.
Yes.
If you think of anything that's inside or outside of the box, let us know because we have a lot of time.
Yes. And please take time to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's super easy. Just go there and hit subscribe. And then please do the same wherever you listen to your podcast, because we are also releasing this on various different podcast platforms. So please subscribe. And then last but not least, if you like us, I mean, if you don't like us, you could still do this. But why are you listening still?
That's nice of you.
Make sure that you leave a review specifically on iTunes. I think it's Apple Podcasts that has reviews show. Right. So we would really love it. We actually already have a couple of really wonderful reviews. Shout out to Clara Hillier. Yeah, so it would be awesome if you guys could subscribe, share, and show us the love. Because, we're just doing this because we really like doing this. We really like having this podcast.
3+ seasons of this.
And if you guys love it, we would really love to have your support in many ways.
Yeah.
So subscribe, share, write reviews.
Tell your friends.
And wear a mask, put on gloves.
6 feet, please.
Hand sanitizer on your gloves.
On your lips.
If you need any excuse to get out of anything, this is as good a time as any to use ridiculous COVID measures to get out of something.
Exactly.
We will find a movie for next week.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. We will see you next week.
Bye. Bye.